Indo-Russia relations. Indo-Russia relations. This is very, very important because again, you need to know recently some changes happened in Indo-Russian relations because there was already a prelims question asked in Indo-Russian relations. Prelims question was also asked on Indo-Russian relations, and mains point of view, you need to understand the dynamics of Indo-Russian relations. I'll try to give some history of Indo-Russian relations. What happened? When our Indian relations started with Russia, just now I have given the very first class. 1927 itself, our relations started with the state of Russia. So where India at that point of time, they're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Russian Revolution, Lenin Revolution. So Jawaharlal Nehru went and he sought the different models, and he was so inspired with that model, and ultimately he came. And the Russian influence was there in Indian independence movement because there was a group called Socialist Group formed in the Congress. Okay. Why I am giving all these points is, if you don't quote in an appropriate time, then it's a waste. You have to quote it because our relations are age-old relations. That's what you want to mention. But it was legitimized in the Congress because of Jawaharlal Nehru. It's an individual group. It's an individual group. But it was legitimized in the Indian political system when Jawaharlal Nehru adopted in the Purna Swaraj resolution of 1927. Legitimized? But in our Indian political thought process, the socialism was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru. Though individual people they have fight, but it's not completely. But Jawaharlal Nehru was. And even the Russian Revolution of 1905 has inspired the Indian independence movement. Okay, the Russian Revolution of 1905 was inspired the Indian independence movement. And you know, Gandhiji used to read the books of Ruskin Bond and Tolstoy. There was a farmhouse and his name Tolstoy. So that is how the influence. Okay, you take that point also. So Gandhi was also influenced by the writings of Tolstoy. Now, after independence, the Russia at that point of time, USSR has stopped anti-national activities or anti-Indian activities in Jammu and Kashmir and Goa. Jammu and Kashmir and Goa, USSR has successfully stopped anti-Indian activities. And when this proposal was taken to the United Nations, USSR has helped to India, vetoing not to bring these issues to the repetitive raising of Jammu and Kashmir issue on Jammu and Kashmir and United Nations was obstructed by Russia. Initially, actually, because of the geographical proximity, Pakistan, actually USSR wanted to have a good relations with the Pakistan. But unfortunately, Pakistan has joined with the American forces, CENTRO we call it as CETO, Central Alliance Forces, CETO forces. That is the reason why Pakistan unable to ally with the Russia or USSR. Then India has become so close to the USSR. And our 5-year plan model itself is a USSR model. And USSR has given lot of capital and technological assistance in manufacturing the capital good industries. Capital good industries. That is how it has started helping India in the socialistic era, in the during Jawaharlal Nehru time. And but when 1962 the war happened between China and India, what was the role of Russia? Russia was so silent. Russia was a neutral force in 1962 war. Russia was a neutral force in 1962 war. It could have given support to the China because it's a communist party, but they haven't given. It was neutral. It was neutral. What about the role of Russia or USSR in 1965? Who was the peace broker? Where peace happened? Tashkent, forgot. Lal Bahadur Shastri died there itself. So it was the Russia, the peace broker. The peace broker. And some people say that it is not an uniform or it's unequal peace broking, but anyhow. Okay. So in 1965, the USSR was the peace broker. And Russia has helped a lot in developing nuclear technology in India. Even today, the nuclear energy, what we are doing, Kudankulam by whom? Russia. Kudankulam by Russia. And when we have launched our first satellite, Aryabhatta, from where we have launched? From Russia, from USSR. From USSR. The space cooperation. Space cooperation. And what was our first human space mission? Now we are doing in Indian soil. But Rakesh Sharma, Soyuz rocket, Soyuz T. Soyuz T. So in space, in nuclear energy, and the nuclear cooperation is that in 20 years, they are going to supply 20 new reactors. In the next 20 years, they are going to supply 20 new nuclear reactors. All the industrial technology, like heavy machinery, manufacturing of steel, energy sector, and the defense sector, I cannot. Many things. All the mix series. Sukhoi, Kilo class submarines, INS, Sindhugo, Sindhuraksh, all the Sindhu series is there, no? These are all from, and the another nuclear submarine Chakra is of USSR. INS Vikramaditya, USSR. T-90 tanks, battle tanks, Russia. And even your BrahMos, latest S-400, Russia. So this is of our cooperation. And a lot of Indian companies having a bilateral investments in case of this exploration of the oil, because Russia, USSR is one of the resource rich country. Lot of oil and natural gas things are there. Okay. Defense cooperation. And even we have a fund called Rupee Ruble Credit Fund. Rupee Ruble Credit Fund means what? Now you no need to go with the foreign exchange. You can simply do your transaction in your own Indian rupee. You can simply do your transaction in your Indian rupee. Simply you can do Indian rupee. Okay. Now I'll come to and even one more thing, this oil and gas industry also I tell, even Russia has transferred a reprocessing technology. What does it mean? Reprocessing technology. Have you studied in your science and technology? Reprocessing technology. What are the fissile materials that are available? Uranium. Uranium 238 is a fissile material or a fertile material? Uranium 235, uranium 238, plutonium 239, see, normal uranium consisting of the natural uranium and uranium 238. Normal uranium 235 is a fissile material, that means which can be acts as a fuel. But uranium 238 cannot be. It needs to be converted into plutonium 238. Sorry, plutonium 239. And there is another thing called thorium. Thorium. So thorium can be again converted it into uranium. That's a different story. I'm not getting into thorium aspect. But what happened is the natural uranium, if you take the natural uranium consisting of only 0.7% of uranium 235, remaining 99.3 is uranium 238. Uranium 238 is not a fissile material. Even if you use this material, it cannot give any radioactivity. Only this percentage it will give. That means the natural uranium which is available in India is inferior. So what you will do is, once you place it in the nuclear reactor, the proton will bombard uranium 235 and uranium 238. When the proton is bombarded uranium 235, it will burn and it will give energy. But when this uranium 238 bombarded, it will give plutonium 238. Plutonium 239, it will give plutonium 239. This plutonium is how much amount of percentage we are having? 99.3% of plutonium is there. Now this is the fissile material which can be used as a nuclear material, but you can't use it directly. You need to reprocess it. But once you reprocess this, you will have a plenty of nuclear material. You will have a, suppose if I am having 100 kg of uranium with me, then that means 99.3 kgs. 99.3 kgs is of uranium 238, but only 0.3 kgs of is natural uranium. But once I reprocess this, how much amount of fissile material I will get? 99.3 kgs of nuclear material I will get. But who will give this technology? You are not a signatory of NPT. You are not a signatory of CTBT. Who will give? Who will give? Russia has given. Russia has supplied. Later, America has also supplied because of 1-2-3 deal. 1-2-3 deal. You can understand 1-2-3 deal, no? So because of this 1-2-3 deal, that is happening. Now, see, this plutonium 239 has become a fissile material. Because of what? Because of this reprocessing technology. And because of this reprocessing technology, now we are able to become a nuclear force, and that is given by the Russia. Just remember. Next. Now, when it comes to the recent summit, just I want to give some points because these are important. Indo-Russia relations topic. Now, this time, earlier you have heard about this 2+2 summit. What is this 2+2 summit? External Affairs, Defense and External Affairs Minister. This time we have started this 2+2 summit that we have upgraded. Earlier we have this summit only with United States of America, Japan and Australia, but now we are also having with United States of America. Sorry, Russia. Now, Intergovernmental Commission on Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation. Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation. Earlier there was a question in the prelims. Recently we have signed an intergovernmental military cooperation agreement with which country? Russia, America, Japan, some other given. Answer is Russia. Okay. Military Technical Cooperation Commission. This commission has met. And we have renewed our military cooperation for another 10 years by up to 2031. But if you're looking into the Indo-Russia relation, at one point of time, we have a buyer and seller relations. We just have a buyer and seller relations, because I have given the list of defense equipments. All these things are in only buyer and seller mode. That means America used to supply, America used to sell, we used to purchase. But today we have reached from just a buyer seller relations to a joint venture and technological cooperation. This is an upgradation happened in relations. Joint venture and technology cooperation. Recent example is what? BrahMos is a recent example, because where we have jointly developed a new missile. Joint venture and technological cooperation. And one thing, recently we have signed another agreement to manufacturing this AK-203 rifles. AK-203 rifles. Total, how many rifles we are going to manufacture here? 6 lakh with an Indian joint venture with a 50.5 and 49.5. This is Russian share, this is Indian share. This is a Russian share and this is the Indian share. We are going to start it in UP. Indo-Russia Rifles Private Limited. Indo-Russia Rifles Private Limited. And in the very first instant, maybe 70,000 they will manufacture in Russia, and they will bring the Indian technology is only limited, but remaining things will be produced in India. They will transfer technology to India. A technological transfer. Are you going to get the technological transfer in your Rafale? No, in Rafale there is no technology transfer, but in Russian they are going to transfer the technology. And please mention about this S-400 missile system. Actually, we expected that S-400 will be delivered to India, but it has not happened. But soon it will be delivered. Earlier, Russia, and even today, Russia was the largest military supplier to India, but the share has come down. But because of this S-400 deal, again it will go up. Earlier it was more than 70%, but now it has come down to 49 to 50%. But again, now with this S-400, it will go up, but we don't know exactly the value. And agreements on oil and energy, intellectual property, oil and energy, intellectual property rights, banking. And decision to, okay, this I have given S-400 missile system. One more important thing is India and Russia decided to go for a joint projects in a third country. We have already started this project with Bangladesh, Rupur nuclear project, with the assistance from the Russia. And we have already started these type of things with Japan also. Because in order to counter the China, India, like how China is doing developmental projects in third countries, India also wanted to go with the projects in third countries. But you know, I think what happened in Sri Lanka with respect to that Western Container Terminal, they have suspended it. But anyhow, so India and Russia are going to start a joint projects in the third country. Okay. So this is the cooperation that India is having with Russia, but there are differences. So what are the differences that Russia is having with India? See, there was some statement from the Russia that Afghanistan soil must not be used for terrorist activities like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, but they have also mentioned about this Lashkar-e-Taiba. This is the only one benefit that we got. That means Lashkar-e-Taiba is a terrorist group which is acting against the interest of India. Nothing will happen. Acting against the interest of India. But how? But how Russia is going to act in the interest of India? So when it comes to the Afghanistan issue, Russia only said like, okay, we don't allow this terrorism, but Russia said like, we are committed for the peaceful coexistence, non-interference into internal issues of Afghanistan, and also the humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. But when it comes to the problems of the Afghanistan is not alone confined to our region, not only our country, but it is also confined to our region. And if at all you want to write the problems that we are facing because of Afghanistan, just write these points: terrorism, radicalism, narco practices, instability, governance practices. So these are the 5 areas where India and the entire region is affecting because of Afghanistan. But did we get any assurance from the Russia on this Afghanistan issue? Because even today India don't have a clear-cut strategy on the Afghanistan. We don't know what to do. We are just in a wait and watch mode, but we are ready to give any humanitarian assistance to the Russia. But Afghanistan region is very, very important for us. I think in the S-400 missile class itself, I have explained how it is helpful for ourselves to connect to the Central Asian countries and all. And Central Asian heads are going to be the chief guest for this year Republic Day. And maybe just focus on the Central Asian countries, our relations with the Central Asian. So it is very, very important aspect, and the role of Afghanistan in our India Central Asia policy, how it is going to make, because some of the countries like Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, they are maintaining some good relations with the Afghanistan, but still they have some problem with this fundamentalism. But how we will overcome this, and how we can use Afghanistan to connect ourselves to the Central Asian countries, and how Afghanistan influence should not affect our Indian subcontinent region, and in that how we can take the assistance from the Russia. Unfortunately, we did not get any assurance from the Russia on this issue of Afghanistan. First, next, Russia was so neutral about the Chinese attack on India in its northern borders. So it's unable to do anything. It is quite neutral. And moreover, in order to contain the Western forces on the name of Quad or on the name of AUKUS, Russia is joining closely with the China. But unfortunately, Russia is not at all helpful in its protecting the northern border. Next, one more thing. Actually, if you're looking into the Quad and AUKUS, Quad and AUKUS. So Australia, UK, and United States. And what are the Quad countries? USA, India, Japan, and Australia. Japan and Australia. These are the Quad countries. And when it comes to the relations, actually this Quad and AUKUS strictly not comes under our purview, but still it covers the southern Indian Ocean also. Unfortunately, the relations in the extended neighbor and the neighbor of India is overshadowed by the US-China relations. US-China relations. See why the Quad group has formed and why the AUKUS has formed. It is because of Indo-China rivalry. So Indo-China rivalry is actually making the relations here, and because of that Indo-China rivalry, we could not bring Russia into our own relations. That is the reason why America is no way helping us in this Quad and AUKUS, or otherwise in neutralizing the forces in the Indian Ocean. Because it is a rivalry of US and China. When rivalry of US-China comes, then definitely Russia will only help to the China, but not to the India. So that is one aspect, because why we are unable to seek Russian cooperation in our extended neighborhood is because it is overshadowed by the US-China relation. That is the reason why. And one more thing, we have failed to sign an agreement about reciprocal exchange of logistic agreement. So what is this logistic agreement? RELOS. What is this logistic agreement? Any idea? Lemova, with which country we have signed? With USA we have signed logistic exchange memorandum of agreement. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Logistic agreement. If any Russian warplanes, naval ships, anything, if it enters into Indian territory because of one or other reason, if they need any assistance, then they can use the Indian bases, either naval base or air base. They can use these bases, but only for maintenance purpose. Suppose they want to fight in China, they want to fight with Australia. Suddenly they came, they need a shelter. They can take the shelter in India. But again, when we signed with America, it is only case by case. That means if America is attacking any Indian friend or Indian neighbor or Indian close relation countries, then it should not give the permission. It don't give permission. So the permission is not a blanket ban, but it is only case to case. Case to case in the sense wherever you want, you can give, otherwise. But unfortunately, we haven't signed that agreement with the Russia, because that shows there is some sort of the lagging in our relations. Next, when it comes to the Navy to Navy cooperation, we haven't moved ahead because we expected that the Navy to Navy cooperation we will sign. There is no progress on that. Even upgradation of MiG-29 Sukhoi, there is no progress. And moreover, when you're looking, see, when our Prime Minister visited United States of America, he also went along with all the businessmen. And there was a business summit held there. But unfortunately, there is no business to business cooperation in Indo-Russian relations. There is no business to business relations in Indo-Russian cooperation. That is one thing, there is a lagging in this. And moreover, one more thing, already government of India announced $1 billion of credit to develop the far east part of Russia. And you know that the Chennai Vladivostok corridor, so that whatever the trade line, and also even Russia also more interested in developing the Far East, and India said like they have offered $1 billion credit line to develop the far eastern part of Russia. Unfortunately, there is no progress in this. There is no progress in this. There is no progress. And also there is no progress in this international north-south corridor. There is no progress in international north-south corridor. Now there are many countries are joined here, but I can give it's a multi-corridor, multi-mode corridor. That means roads are there, air routes are there, naval routes are there, 7,200 kilometers. So India, Iran, Russia, Azerbaijan, these were the major countries, but later it was extended to European countries, it was extended to Central Asian countries like Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, these are also joined. These are also joined. These are also joined. And there are two important agreements that are signed between India and Russia. These are not new agreements, but old agreements, you must know. Indo-Russia Strategic Partnership Agreement 2010, Indo-Russia Strategic Partnership Agreement 2010, and Indo-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic. Sorry, this was signed in 2000, but in 2010 we have signed Indo-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic Agreement. Special and privileged, special and privileged, special and privileged, special and privileged. And one important aspect, if at all you will get a question on Indo-Russian relations this year or even next year, that whatever the Indo-Soviet Friendship Treaty of 1971, Indo-Soviet Friendship Treaty of 1971, because of that we are able to get the support of USSR in liberating Bangladesh from the Pakistan, in liberating Bangladesh from Pakistan. And whenever you are writing about defense relationship, you must ensure that we are already having an age-old relationship in defense, and you must make sure that now our relationship change from buyer-seller to a joint venture. And one more thing, in spite of CAATSA sanctions, we move ahead with S-400 missile system purchase. These aspects also you need to. These are the three important aspects you need to focus. You need to focus. But one more thing is, but is there any similarity in terms of value when it related to Indo-Russia relations? Unfortunately, even today, there is no similarity in our values because we are not democratic countries. We are not democratic countries. There is no cultural relations between Russia and India. There is no people-to-people contact. It's all become only transactional relations. So though we are doing a technology transfer, but still it is a transactional, because apart from the business and these things, we cannot sit together in anywhere. See, we have a relations with some countries because where we are having an age-old relations. Some countries culturally we are so close. Buddhist nations are there, Hindu nations are there, democratic nations are there. But unfortunately, that cultural or that emotional thing is missing in Indo-Russian relations. It always, in spite of all these things, but still we are following only transactional relations. And our bilateral trade is only $10 billion. Unfortunately, it is very low. We need to increase more and more. There is a lot of things are there where we can. These are some of the aspects you need to remember with respect to Indo-Russia relations. Don't write all the conventional points like we are friends, we are doing all this, we are a big guest. No, you have to bring all these things, specifically focus on the new development aspects, Okay. So these are some of the things with respect to Indo-Russian relations, But unfortunately, the point is the India's policy or India's tilted policy towards the United States of America is also a cause of worry for the United States of America. I'll simply give two examples so that you can understand. See, as far as the Iran is concerned, what was our policy with respect to the Iran? when American sanctions were not there, we are completely pro-Iranian. We have supplied oil, we have received oil, and there was the Indian rupee exchange system was also there. Lot of multilateral projects we have started. But the moment when America started imposing the sanctions, what about our relations? Today, we are not purchasing anything from the any oil from the Iran. That is the thing. That means when the moment that happened, immediately Iran has become the close friend of China. Now Russia is also making a relation. And because of our policies towards the America, now America supported Afghanistan. At what point of time? When there was no Taliban rule. And America started hesitating Pakistan. Immediately Russia got the support of Pakistan. Because Pakistan has supplied with lot of arms with the Russia. That is also one more concerning point where India is having, because Pakistan and Russian relations are increasing. Now take the case of Afghanistan. When America was there in power, you said like, I don't talk Taliban, Talibans are terrorists and everything you said. Now once the America has left, now China, Russia, everyone is coordinating with the Afghanistan. They wanted to do something in Afghanistan, but we are alienated. In that process. And if suddenly someone want to bring a military alliance because you are having a rivalry called China, now suddenly you went with that country. So you went with the United States of America group, Australia group, Japan group. That means India is, I don't know, India to what extent it is worrying more about its region. Because India must strengthen in its region. If at all it want to strengthen its region, then we have to be very careful about neighbors and extended neighbor. And Russia is at one point of time our extended neighbor. So we should maintain a good relations with the Russia. At any cost, our regional relations must not get disturbed. That only you can say. So this is about Indo-Russian relations. I think I have given enough number of points on this Indo-Russian relations. Is it clear?
Amrita IAS Academy.